Hello and welcome to Theme Park Information. In today's show we're doing a review for Energylandia, located in Poland. This is a park which has literally come from nowhere in the last few years to be probably one of the best in Europe. It's got some excellent roller coasters. It's a park which is developing and becoming better, and it will continue to do so. Some of their future plans are pretty mind-blowing. It's going to be a really good park sooner or later. And let's get straight into the review. So pretty much Energylandia, let's start off with their new roller coaster, Hyperion. The hype around this ride is insane. Finally managed to get on to go on it, and I tell you what, it's an excellent roller coaster. There's no beating around the bush. It's very well themed. It's really well placed. It literally is one of the first things you see when you pull in. It's massive. It has some excellent airtime moments. It has some excellent elements which aren't airtime. It's just a really, really good roller coaster, and that is either in the front or the back seat. Oddly, little caveat to that, one of the things I dislike about this roller coaster is it needs a few more signs for the queue about where you sit. So pretty much there's 3 areas you could go, or 3 lines. One is for the front row, one is for single riders, and one is for the rest of the train. That needs to be signposted and very clear, a lot further back than what it is. I absolutely love the fact that the station is itself like behind a set of doors, and like it actually has like a turnstile of how many people are allowed through each time, which is also excellent. It really helps. It means you can literally sort yourselves out, and it does have a great throughput as well. It didn't earlier in the day because they were doing some promotional filming on it by the looks of it. I was kind of thought for a second that they were doing it for just normal customers. I doubt it. I think it's like promotional. I seriously hope it's promotional, seeing as they were using like GoPros, which were like duct taped to the front and back of it. So, but yeah, it meant that it was a little bit slow getting started in the morning. But thankfully, those like little issues were put aside. Yeah, better signpost though, and I think this is an excellent roller coaster. It's at the moment in the number 5 spot on my top 10 list, and yeah, it's very much worthy of that sort of place. Other than other than it being a bit slow and a little bit of queue line confusion. The ride itself is very smooth. It has excellent transitions. It's aggressive. The lap bars are really comfortable. There's actually loads of space to stand and walk on as well. Like the carriage and that is very big, very open, which works really well. Overall, excellent roller coaster, probably the best in Europe, unless I happen to go on Wildfire at some point. Anyway, moving on to the other rides, they have a Vekoma SLC, which isn't that great. It's probably one of the most modern and other than SLCs you'll go on. Unfortunately, it's still by Vekoma, so it's not great. They have Speed Water Coaster, which actually was opened a year later than it should have. This actually is a really fun ride. The drop on it is really good fun. I actually happened to get soaked on, much to my friend's amusement, because I didn't think it would get me that wet at all. But the drop on it's really cool. The roller coaster part of it's also excellent. It's in a really cool location. It's a really large area. It's a really good roller coaster. Really, really enjoyed it. Then they have the Formula 1 coaster, which actually is probably one of the best Vekoma roller coasters you'll ever go on. The launch is really good fun. The inversions are good. There's some good airtime. It's just an overall really enjoyable ride. Now, they're the major roller coasters at this park. They're all complement each other pretty well. And the thing is, what's scary about it is they'll be adding more roller coasters in the future to make that lineup even stronger. And what I find really strange about it is they have so many thrill rides and other water rides and stuff like that just dotted about. It's a park which is just filled to the brim with attractions. And there's so much to do and see at this park. It's kind of worrying. You wouldn't think it had been open for 4 years. I have to say, it's a park which does have a couple of other little things wrong with it. I don't think it has a particularly good layout. It's a little bit of a maze at points, and there's a few dead ends, which is never particularly great. Also, I swear some of the ride entrances or exits go on to like join up with the exit of like another ride and stuff like that. There's lots of like strange things like that which happen at this park, which does show how quickly it's developed, where they've literally just plonked stuff there. But it's something which maybe needs to be like designed. Also, think there's a few very narrow like kind of bottlenecks here and there around the park as well. And I do think they could possibly do with a few more food places where they're proper sit-down restaurants. I do appreciate there are a few, but they're all kind of similar. Like, they could possibly like really expand on it. especially as this park probably will start having more of an international audience come to it at some point, and I think it will happen. I think this park could be pretty massive in the next like 5 to 10 years. Like, it's the way it's going, the way it's developing. Overall cost of the park, it costs about £25 to get in. Very much well worth it. It has to be said, it's a little bit difficult to get to. There is a bus which runs during the summer from the 2 nearest cities. If you happen to go outside of those times, it's not easy. It just happens to be in the middle of absolutely nowhere, which is great for its development. It's why it can develop so quickly, because there's nothing around it. But yeah, it's kind of like just out there. Can't really think of any other little problems or anything like that. The park was clean, really tidy. It could possibly do with a few more like toilets and facilities and such for that. Maybe some like drinking fountains as well here and there. And I also think that, for example, it needs like a proper rapids as well and a proper log flume. Both of those are kind of a slightly Mickey Mouse. It's still got room to improve. It wouldn't surprise me if they continue to invest in it and get this park to be world class sooner or later. And I have to say, yeah, Hyperion is a definite reason to go to this park. It's pretty spectacular. It has to be said that I've seen on the 11th spot in like loads of the world's top 100 coasters. It probably will end up there at some point. It's a great ride. So yeah, well worth it. Hopefully you've enjoyed the review. Feel free to leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. And yeah, feel free to like and subscribe as well. So I'll catch you guys on the next video.